Welcome again. Today we're going to be doing multiplication with 2-digit by 2-digit numbers. And just like all my other lessons, I've been really pumping this expanded form method because I believe it really simplifies the multiplication process. Although it's longer, it's much easier to really understand how multiplication works, and it takes a lot of the mental math out of it. Having to multiply mentally can be really confusing with some students. However, if we're always multiplying simple numbers, a lot more students will really get the method. So, in this method, we now have 79 times 25. And once again, we're going to expand this. And if we expand 79, we get 70 plus 9. Okay, and we're just going to think about these, keep it in our head, that it's 70 plus 9, 25 is expanded to 20 plus 5. Okay? Now, the way we start 2-digit by 2-digit numbers when we're multiplying is the exact same way as if we're doing 2-digit by 1-digit numbers. So if we take a look at this, my finger's too big. Let's just pretend that this 2 doesn't exist. So the way we're going to start is with the 5. And we're going to multiply that by 79. So the first two steps is ignoring this 2. So once again, using the expanded form, we're going to multiply the 5 and the 9. So since it's single digits, 5 and 9, we're going to have our 5, and we're going to multiply that by 9. And we could write that right away. So 5 times 9 is 45. And now that's done. And now we're going to go across. So we're going to take the same 5 and we're going to multiply across to the 7. So in step 1, I'll just color code this. We go up and then this 5 goes across. And we have to remember that we're not multiplying it by 7, but we're multiplying it by 70. So if we take a look here, remember, in expanded form, it's actually 70. So we have our 5, and we multiply that by 70. And multiplying by multiples of 10 are very simple because we always have the 0. So we count 1 0. We have 1 0 over there, and now we could do 5 times 7, and we have 35. Okay? So those are the first two steps. We're not done yet. We've only done half of the multiplications that we need to do. Now, we have to pay attention to this 2. Now this 2, remember, is actually 20. But don't let it scare you, because it's the exact same. It's only a 0. So we're going to be multiplying everything by 20 this time. So we're always going from the bottom to the top. So our first step, once again, we go 2, but we always start with the 1s column, right, with the smallest number first. And the 9 is the smallest number. So we're going to be multiplying across to the 9. So we actually get 20 times 9 first. And since we have our 1 0, we know that we could start with 0 because 0 times 9 is going to be 0. And now we could do our 2 times 9, and that's 18. Okay, now we're back up to our 2. We've already done 3 of the numbers. Now we need to go upwards with our 2. And our 2 is actually, remember, 20. And this 7 is not 7, it's 70. So our next multiplication is going to be 20 times 70, because they're both in the tens column. So below, in our fourth step, we're going to have 20. And we're multiplying that by 70. And if you remember multiplying with tens, you count the zeros. There's 2 in this whole entire equation right here. So all you have to do is add the 2 zeros, and then you multiply the 2 numbers at the front, and you have 2 times 7, and you have 14. Now you could add it all up. Now it looks very large because there's 4 numbers there, but because of all these zeros, you're only going to be doing 3 numbers at most. So if we take a look here, we have 5, and that's just going to come right down because we have all these zeros. So 5 plus 3 zeros is 5. Now we're going to add the rest. We have 4 plus 5 plus 8. So 4 plus 5 is 9, plus 8 is 17. We're going to carry the 1. We get 1 plus 3 plus 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9. And then 1 plus nothing is nothing. And we get 1,975. Alright, so it's 4 steps for this method. But, once again, doing all these multiplications, which are rather simple because it's really only doing 1 digit by 1 digit. The only difference is you have to add these zeros in, and then add it all together, and you'll arrive at the right answer all the time. So let's take a look here in our second example. We have 63 times 73. We move this into an expanded form and we get 60 plus 3. Over in the second one we have 70 plus 3. We always start with the smallest numbers, so in the ones column going upwards. So we're going to start with 3 times 3. And 3 times 3 equals 9. Then we're going to move across. We have 3 times 60. Remember, the 6 is 60. So going across, we have 3 times 60. And you don't ever want to forget that 0, just so you could always be consistent. We have 1 0 there. 3 times 6 is 18, and we add that to the second part. Now we're going to move across. We're finished with the original 3 over here. Now we have to do with the 7, which is actually 70. So we're multiplying the rest of the numbers by 70. We start with the smallest number. So in the ones column, the 7 is going to go across to the 3. And we have 70 times 3. Count 1 0, place 1 0. 7 times 3, 21. Add that in there. Now we move on to the fourth step. And we now have one last number to do. We have 70 once again, and we're multiplying by 60. If you remember, it's in the tens column. So we're going upwards now in our fourth step. So we get 70 times 60. We count how many zeros there are. There's 2, so we add 2 over here, always keeping in line with your place values. Then we do 7 times 6, and you get 42. Final step is to add it all up. The 9 comes all the way down because it has nothing but zeros. 8 plus 1 is 9. We have 1 plus 2 plus 2 is 5. And then 4 is nothing. And we get an answer of 4,599.